Okay,
Yes.
we're back after a tape change. Mrs. Dudley was explaining the non-discrimination and instruction policy.
We've just made it shorter and clearer, and I would recommend that we make those changes to that policy.
Okay, so it's a motion to adopt the revisions to to policy 6214. Is there a second? Mr. Kazin seconds. Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
The next, policy 5810, we've changed the name, and we've, instead of putting the board in there, which the board has nothing to do with research involving students, we put in the superintendent. That's all we've done, so it's simple, clear. So I would recommend that we approve those changes.
And so that's a motion?
That is the motion.
Mr. Kazin seconds. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. You're on a roll, Mrs. Dudley. Keep going.
Okay, the bylaws, school district legal services.
Did we do 5810, the regulation?
Oh, we're eliminating that entirely.
Okay, so that's a motion to remove it?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Right. Now, going on to the bylaw 9700, school district legal services. We've made two simple little changes in language, and that's all. So I would recommend that we approve this update of this bylaw about school district legal services.
Okay. Is there a second, Mr. Kazin?
I was giving you another opportunity. I'll
I
second.
think the lawyers ought to move on these particular. Okay, any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. And removal of Regulation 9700.
That's totally removed.
All right. Is there a motion to adopt that recommendation? It's your motion, Mrs. Dudley.
That's my motion.
Mr. Kazin seconds.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And
Yeah, that's a crazy regulation. Why
It
would you-
is.
Why would you possibly have that in a
Our
regulation?
Well,
our
hence
bylaws
why we
was
were doing it.
essentially a code of ethics for lawyers.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
may not
dangerous
be the
territory.
business we want to
Can't
be
say
in,
it
but-
too often.
Oh, next. Evaluation time is coming up. Go ahead.
policy 6311, diplomas for veterans. We're just adding the Vietnam era. That's by legislation. That has been sent that the legislator must add that to awarding diplomas for veterans of those periods.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, and the regulation?
We're just updating the regulation, making it current. That's basically
To
all that
include
we're doing.
the Vietnam War. Okay.
Second.
All right, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. Excellent.
Okay.
Terrific. Got
Quick
that.
and easy.
Yes, very much. Item 10, unfinished business. Anything? Item 11, reports of policy committee meeting. I'm
Nothing
sure you
else.
don't have one.
Nothing else.
11.2, operations committee.
I think we covered it.
Okay. Well, actually, no, you should mention about the food service report that we got. Did we not mention that before?
Oh, no, we didn't talk about it. Meals served are way up. What else is not?
It's a profit.
Turned a financial profit.
Profit, we finally showed,
Well, we showed a profit in December because we received that big payment from the state.
yes.
Well, but if you amortize that over 3 months, we still show a profit, right? If you only took a third of it this month, right?
I think we might.
The fair point is that we're very close to breaking even, at least on the shorter term. Now, the goal is to continue that on the medium to longer term, so.
We've had great work done in food services, dining services. We're very pleased with the effort of the whole team, and we're beginning to move in the right direction in that area. It's taken a couple of years, it's taken a couple leaders, but we're moving in the right direction. We're very pleased.
Building committee liaison report. Now, in your folders, you'll see you do have an assignment for when you're tasked to the building committee. I went to the last building committee meeting. for the high school. They are, as you've probably noticed, there is steel going up all around us. They're getting floors in. They're going to, I guess they're thinking about trying to do a topping ceremony of some sort where a bunch of kids sign a beam.
The highest piece of steel?
The highest piece of steel sometime, I think it's in April is when they're thinking about.
Well, I'm glad they're waiting for at least till spring.
Yes. My hunch is our insurance company may want to keep an eye on that little expedition, but just a hunch. There is some discussion, well, actually, you're going to report on this, Mr. Sands, from the Standing Fields Committee. There's some discussion about a second artificial turf field, and do you want to comment on that now? I know you were at the Standing Fields Committee meeting.
Right. Yes, there is a proposal being considered to have a second artificial turf field at the high school. And some preliminary numbers have been prepared on this. It would appear that the life of the field cost is about the same as with a natural turf field, with, of course, the advantages of an artificial turf that you could use it in inclement weather, and you can use it more than 15 hours a week. But this is still being considered, I believe, at the administrative level, and we don't have a firm proposal yet.
Okay.
Now, to
But
be
it
clear,
is something that's being considered.
but that's not in the budget for the new high school, correct?
It's not in the ed specs.
It's not in the ed specs, the
Whether-
building,
Whether the building committee chooses to put it into the budget, that's, probably their decision, although I certainly hope that they would ask our input.
yeah, there's been a proposal made. It is strongly supported by the Standing Fields Committee. It has it's generated some enthusiasm within certain areas within the high school. The suggestion being that the project does call for a natural turf field with under drainage and irrigation, and trade that cost in on the cost of a turf field. It would have similar under drainage, it wouldn't require the irrigation, there would be a delta, there would be an upcharge, but the suggestion has been made that the bids have come in so favorably that now would be the time to absorb the upcharge, to make that investment. The building committee has heard the presentation, they've asked for more information, they're entertaining it. The proposal has some support from different quarters, and there's been no decision made, but it would fall within the building committee's discretion to do so if the budget affords for that sort of change to be made. Whether or not they'd choose to do that without broader community conversation, or whether they'd open up a broader community conversation. There will be a meeting tomorrow night. I'll be in attendance at that meeting. I missed the previous one, but I do expect that it'll come up at some of the meetings. moving forward.
I hate to keep saying the same thing, but, the goal of avoiding mission creep here is not a trivial goal. And just because the bids came in where they came in doesn't mean it has to be spent.
No, that's true, but in this particular case, there may be an economic
I get that.
justification.
Yep. But you need to know the numbers. And
Right.
and you also.
That's the important thing. I mean, the artificial turf is more expensive up front.
Yes.
But the maintenance is very substantially less.
No question.
And so over the 10-year life of either one of these type fields, it's about a push
Okay.
economically.
Then that's just the data we need to get. But
Right.
I would encourage the building committee to, if there's something outside the ed specs, to not do it alone, to bring it to the board. I mean, because the Board of Selectmen, I think, and the Board of Finance really ought to weigh in on that. But that's my opinion. I don't know how it's, it's their decision, but I think there's value in getting broader input.
Which field, what location in the project?
They would be talking about the It's essentially a practice field that we pick up. By shrinking the footprint of the building and going tall, we generate more space. So it would be an additional practice field that would be located on the northwest corner of the property. So
back this
it would
way.
essentially where some of the football parking is now, up by New England Road.
I thought it was further back
I'm
this way.
sorry, I'm gesturing in the wrong direction.
I thought, well, whatever, yeah.
Picked up on television well. Adjacent to the road, adjacent to New England Road, that field?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sitting up closer to New England Road. Mhm. It wouldn't be in the back of the property, it would be up closer to the front of the property.
Where
Okay.
those 54 parking spots were going to be or not going to be.
Right, I guess.
In
Right,
that area.
right. It wouldn't compete with that space. It
When-
is separate. There's already a field programmed
Right,
there.
right.
It's just the question of whether it would be natural grass or
Just
artificial grass.
one thing to keep in mind, I think I saw something in the paper said that the EPA had withdrawn their
Yeah.
finding of no impact relating to these fields, and so maybe we should get a little better information about what the scientists are saying about these things at this point.
Yes.
Correct.
In addition, the high school building committee tomorrow night will be discussing the thing that is in the ed specs, and that's the black box. So, under our plan, I will be attending that along with Dr. Friedman.
Oh, good, okay.
Yes.
Okay, any other town committee liaison reports? Is there anything else on that? Okay. Is there any other town committee liaisons?
Land acquisition did not meet this month.
You know, and I'm going to, just as a personal point, allow a comment. Carolee Evans, who was the chair of the Town Land Acquisition Committee, passed away last week. She was a true hero. You know, somebody who maybe you've never met, maybe you didn't know much about her. There are very, very few people who I can think of that have changed Guilford more in a positive way over the last 50 years than Carolee Evans. The town owes her a very substantial debt of gratitude for the tireless work she did for many, many years. I know her service is actually going to be the day of our retreat. But she was a hero for anybody who cared about the fabric of this town and what makes Guilford so special. So I know the Land Acquisition Committee is going to miss her, and many of us will. But item 12, public questions. Anybody? We've kind of waited everybody out as usual, but in any event, all right. New business? Nothing? All right. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.